to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Tuesday, February 6th. I thought it was on my watch face, and I forgot that it's not. This is a podcast about knitting books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting, because that is what I love to do all day, every day. I have various social medias that you can follow me on. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there if you are interested to see what I get up to during the week. I am also a tech editor for knitting patterns, so if you are interested, or if you know someone who is interested or in need of someone, a tech editor for their knitting patterns, I would love to work with you. If you would like to find out more information, you can either send me a message or you can check out the Graceful Edits tab, which is on my blog. I also have show notes. Links to things that I will be talking about. I will hopefully remember everything will be on my blog, or if you're on YouTube, the link to my blog is down below. We're back after a break for the new year, and for the holidays. It was nice to take some time off, and I'm feeling out of practice, already out of breath. Breath management is quite a thing when you record like this. We'll see how editing goes. First time back is always a little rough, but that's okay, I'm just out of habit. We have so much knitting to talk about, and I'm very excited. I'm feeling pretty peppy and rejuvenated and happy to talk to you about all these things, and there's so much to talk about. So without further ado, we'll get into the episode, and we'll just continue on from there. If you like to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, an animal to snuggle, laundry to fold, whatever it is, I hope it's either bringing you rest, joy, or both, or I'm helping you get through an unpleasant task such as folding laundry. As I've already mentioned, I have a lot of laundry to fold. That hasn't changed, but the dryer is off, so that's a positive thing. We won't have to edit out the buzzing noises. I'm excited about that. You may not be as excited, but I'm very excited. Anyway, I'm gonna reach over here and grab my drink. I have a root beer today, and I'm very excited. It's one of my favorite. This is also one of my mom's afternoon treats. I apologize for the sound. Anyway, if you like to do all those things, none of those things, whatever brings you joy, then you come back and join me for some crafty chat. Oh, that is so good. So good. Okay, where are we gonna set this down? I'm sitting on a stool, footrest thing. Hi, hello. I did some, as we all do, I'm sure, feel the need. It's not required for the new year, but I don't know about you. What am I trying to say? Let's restart this. Some years in January, I feel very lackluster. I don't feel like setting goals. I don't feel like starting fresh. I don't feel that way. This year was not that way. I felt very inspired, felt very excited about new upcoming things. Had the urge to deep clean, reorganize, declutter, that kind of thing. So I was grateful for the energy that I had. All this to say, I rearranged our living room and moved some pieces of furniture around. Obviously, that's what rearranging means. And all that to say, I'm sitting on a footstool because I moved this footstool that used to be in our living room into this general yarn area, and now I can sit on it and my feet won't fall asleep because I'm sitting on the floor, which is really exciting. Again, happy for me, maybe not so much happy for you, but I'm excited about this change. Behind the scenes information. Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. So, I need to reply to this text message really quick, and then we'll get right into talking about finished objects. Okay. Everyone. we have finished objects to share. I don't even know when exactly I last recorded. It was in the middle of December, I think. So a lot of things have been finished, which has been very exciting. Some of which the world has seen on my Instagram, some of which the world has not seen on my Instagram because they either just got finished or I haven't gotten around to posting things. Either way, that's fine. You're going to see them now. So, first off, what I'm wearing actually. This is the Colette scarf by Sari Nordlund. This is a little bandana piece that was a very spur of the moment cast on. Yarn was purchased by or from none other than my favorite yarn store. Not my local yarn store, but my favorite yarn store is Maker and Stitch, which is in Edwards, Colorado, which if you're new here is my mom's local yarn shop. So I do love them very dearly. I love to get to go visit them whenever we visit my parents. This yarn is... Do I have it here? I may have it here. Maybe I don't have it over here. I thought I did. Apparently I don't. It is Manistel Uruguay Fino, the lace weight, that I held double and with a strand of Issair's mohair, I believe. Yes. It is, I know it's hard to see. It's hard, the camera's not picking, or doing a good job of picking it up. But there are little lace rows and cables and just a very fun texture, and I thought it was very fun. It's a nice, like, pop of color, and I really enjoyed making it. I couldn't tell you which trip, oh, it was on the other side. I guess it doesn't really matter ultimately. I couldn't tell you which trip I got this or when I got this yarn. It was sometime last year, and I cast it on like then when I got it and worked on it a decent amount and then kind of put it down, and in December, I think, or at the beginning of January, I was feeling very inspired and just like pulled out random Languishing Lips and finished this within 2 days. It was very nice. So I love this little thing. It is super fun. I say that I love it. I haven't really worn it a ton quite yet, but I am in the process of figuring out how to wear it and style it into my wardrobe. So I'm very excited having knit this. It's very soft. It's a pretty easy pattern. Easy to memorize, I feel like. And there are 3 different sizes, which is also awesome. It's DK weight, I believe. Yes. And good use of stash yarn. Doesn't use a ton of yarn, but I was very excited to get this yarn at Maker and Stitch, so love it. First FO we're going to talk about. Second FO was a test knit for my favorite, Casey, a Casey Knits. This was the IRL bandana cowl out of a skein of Madeline Tosh DK in the Edison Bulb colorway. I've been saving this skein for forever. It is just so brightly neon and happy, and I don't know why I was saving it, but I think it's perfect for this. It is such a nice eyelet cowl. I had to make use of my yarn. I played a little bit of yarn chicken, and so mine's slightly shorter than what the pattern calls for, but other than that it is exactly the same. But you got some nice eyelet ribbing detail and some garter stitch in between. It's very straightforward, but also there's enough going on to keep your attention and not be boring, because all of her patterns are like that. It's just that very fine line of being like you have to pay attention to every single row or whatever, but it creates a nice texture and it's easy to memorize at the same time. and it's just enough of it that's like, ooh, okay, I'm ready to change now. I've lost interest in the ribbing, but that's okay because I'm moving on to 2 rows of garter stitch, and then I'll move on to some eyelets, and we're all happy. I also really love this like shape of cowl. I really like the bandana look on me personally. I really like that, and I like that it's a cowl because I don't have to worry about it falling off. Last year and carrying on into this year, walks and runs have become a staple in my daily schedule, which I love, and it has been very cold, which is wonderful. We'll talk about the weather at some point, I'm sure, in this episode. But these kinds of cowls are perfect for that kind of thing. And because I can just throw them on, keeps me warm. Also very visible with this color, which is great. Very important. So that's finished object number 2. That pattern is out, by the way, if you were interested in grabbing a special skein of DK weight, whether it's solid, tonal, speckled, variegated, whatever it may be. Hand spun, the testing group, there was so many a variety of versions, and it was just so much fun to see those pop up, which is very exciting. Next up, I've got 2 pairs of socks that I've worn quite a lot, so I do apologize. But I didn't think to like actually wash them before I started recording. I finished, everybody, my Luke's Hotcake socks. They have been finished, and they've been well loved and worn. And I love them so much. So this is like a feather and fan pattern. These socks are by Manda of Little Bitty Delight. She also makes Progress Keepers that I'm huge fans of. I love her socks. This yarn is the Pumpkin Spice, I think it's just Pumpkin Spice, colorway from Turtle Pearl Yarns. It came with a mini of this teal color, which I obviously did the heels, cuffs, and toes with. I love it. They are amazing. Have I woven in my ends? Clearly not, but that's okay. They're on my feet. No one knows except for you now. And I think it's safe to assume that if I'm wearing my hand knit socks, the ends are probably not woven in. Oh, that's not true. They're probably woven in technically. I just haven't trimmed them. That's the thing. So this is pair number 1, which is very exciting. Sorry, there's people walking. Pair number 1. Pair number 2, which is nicely folded up. I didn't plan this, but this is nice that they're already folded up. My Advent socks, which is so much fun. My Advent socks from Freckled Whimsy. It is a 24 stripe. I pulled from different directions of my balls of yarn, so they are slightly different, which is fun for me. I did I would say my first very successful afterthought heels, set of afterthought heels. I am so proud of these afterthought heels. They're perfect. I am so happy with how they turned out. I do feel like that the heel flap and gusset does fit my foot ultimately the best, but I am very excited with how these turned out. So love these. The yarn, like I said, is Freckled Whimsy. The cuffs, heels, and toes are actually yarn that I dyed forever ago. It's just a silver with some sparkle thrown in, so I thought that would be fun for the holidays. Love these socks. We've got more socks on the needles, and we're going to go over my goals, which involve socks. So, 2 pairs of socks that have been finished. Those are them. Next up, we have another test knit that I am so over the moon with how it's turned out. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful sweater. And I do realize that I did the knitting of this, but I didn't do the pattern. So this is the Synchronized Striped Sweater by Hannah of Sandmade Knits. Her patterns are not available on Ravelry, but they are available on Etsy and her her actual like pattern website, which will be linked in the show notes. But I love this sweater so much. It turned out so well. All of it was stash. Even better. Yeah. So the main color and this purple stripe here are both from Maker and Stitch. The main color is the Fiber Company Cumbria. The purple stripe is, or was, Scout, Kilburn Wool's Scout. The gray, I honestly don't remember what it was. It didn't have a ball band. It was fingering weight that I held double. And then this like rusty color was actually the full skein that I got from my advent calendar in 2022 from Sweet Sparrow Yarns. And that was also fingering weight, but I held it double. So I love it. Syncopated Stripe Sweater. Go get your copy now. I'm showing you the back, technically. No, I'm showing you the front. Sorry, my bad. It's like, where are my short rows? I don't know. I love it. It is so nice. I also did add a little bit of this like color dipped ribbing situation with another purple that I thought really complemented the color combination well, and I think that was pretty fun. Just for some fun little bits. I did not do it on the bottom, and I did not do it on the neckline, obviously, but I love this Cumbria. I didn't realize, I thought it might be slightly itchy just because of the fiber content and the amount of mohair that's in it. But it is so soft, drapes beautifully, very warm and snuggly. Would highly recommend. Go get your copy, and you can make one too, because it's a super fun pattern. I would highly recommend it. Okay, and lastly, this is a fresh finished object as of last night. I finished it last night and blocked it, and thankfully it was dry by this morning, which tells you how dry it is here, because normally that doesn't happen. In the ever humid location of Houston, Texas. If it's a big sweater, which it is, it's dry this morning. So everybody, my ends are not woven in. We don't really care, because I finished this. And I have my finished Advent sweater. What? Can we even? What? Yes. So, I'm so proud of this. It looks beautiful. Oh my goodness. So the pattern is the Daft Days cardigan by Rebecca Clow of the Crayabea Knits podcast. She's the Crayabea on Instagram. She has many a beautiful pattern. This is a like textured linen stitch, slip stitch situation. Very easy, very straightforward. The yarn that I used, these beautiful stripes here, was the Charming You Advent Calendar, which the theme was around the world in 24 days. And so every day had like a location theme or name, and I think it's so much fun. I am just so happy with how it turned out. Of course, went with the sparkle base because, again, why not? It's the holidays. And then my main color is Rowan Felted Tweed, which I got from, surprise, surprise, Maker and Stitch. So it's just, I am so happy with how it turned out. I'm undecided on the buttons, if I'm going to add buttons. So, funny story. Not really a funny story, but I'm going to tell you anyway. because, you know, we're friends. Friends tell each other things. I was FaceTiming with my mom the other day. I think it was 2 days ago. Yesterday? Sometime this week. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Monday. And no, it can't have been Monday. No, it was Monday. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Recently, I was FaceTiming my mom, and we were just sitting and chatting and knitting, which is just wonderful that we can do that. And I had been putting off doing the button bands and the neckline on the sweater for whatever reason. I just wasn't. I think maybe because I had gotten through all the fun part of the striping, and obviously the ribbing was just plain with the gray tweed, and I was a little bored with that. Which is fair. Very valid. And so I took that moment or that time, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit and do it. No big deal. Get it done. And you do these ones first. And I was so into it. I was so excited that they were going by so quickly. I completely forgot to put in the buttonholes. And no, I'm not ripping back. But, dear friends, do not worry. There is a possibility of doing buttonholes because I don't know when it happened, at some point we've discovered that I can't figure out when things happened. Was it yesterday? Was it a week ago? I don't know. I found a video or a reel, excuse me, on Instagram on how to do afterthought buttonholes, which was fascinating to me and something that I definitely want to try in the new year. And I wasn't sure when exactly I would get the chance to do that, but now, perfect opportunity. So that's very exciting. I may be adding buttons. I do have buttons stored away somewhere over in this general area. They're wooden and they've got flowers on them. And I think it would be super cute. I think it'd be really, really cute. So I'm thinking about that. I need to weave in the ends and like try it on when all the ends are not distracting me. And with other outfits. But it is bottom up. You pick up sleeves around the armholes. Normal bottom up, drop shoulder construction. Love this. Such a delight to knit. Really, really enjoyed this. So, the Daft Days cardigan with my advent calendar from Charming You, who is a dyer that is located in Texas, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm just very excited to be able to wear this now. It's pretty lightweight, which is really nice, and means I'm going to have more opportunities to wear it in the, again, very humid location of Houston, Texas. So that's very exciting. And that is all of my finished objects that I have to show you. I feel like there should be more, but we're not going to disparage on ourselves because we got a lot done over the break, and it was very nice. So I think it's time to take a little drink, take a break, and we will be back to talk about our current whips and things. Then we'll go over some goals, some knitting, crafting goals for this year. And then, everybody, it is this time of year to figure out what I want to do as a birthday cast on, because my birthday's coming up and I need help deciding. So, let's take a break. I need a break because my mouth is feeling dry. Because I haven't done this in a long time, and we need to get back into the habits of recording. Anyway, let's take a little break. I'll see you in just a second. Okay, we're back. The power of editing. 2 seconds for you, a nice little break for me. Okay, we've got a lot of whips to talk about, and I'm not quite sure where exactly to start, so I'm just gonna pull from the top. Which is this. This is my very V-neck raglan by Just Made. out of Hello Mrs. Dunn, which is a boucle on the boucle base. Boucle, that's a weird word to say now that I'm saying it a lot. This is from Fashion School Dropout, which I had the wonderful opportunity to see and obviously get at Cakepalooza last year during the Rhinebeck weekend. This sweater has been quite a journey, and yes, it is the wonderful, most snuggly, oversized sweater of my dreams. I have finally put together what it needs to be and what I want it and how it fits well on my body shape. So, which is most important, and the beauty of knitting and really making your clothes, your own clothes, you can fit it to what you need, to what you want, to what you have in your mind. Everything's ultimately a guideline. So I finished the body, and I am currently working on my first little baby sleeve. I say baby sleeve because I have not really knit a ton on my sleeve, but it will be longer. I am very excited with how it is turned out, how it fits, how it's gonna be super snuggly, and I'm very excited. I am not super excited about the fact that I'm probably gonna finish it as we're like getting our last cold spell of the year, or of the winter, until November. We very rarely get cold in March, so I need to hurry up and finish this if I want to be able to wear it soon. Otherwise I'm gonna have to, or I could just save it for when we go to visit my parents, because obviously they live in Colorado and that place is significantly colder than Houston. So yes, I am loving how this is turning out. Like I said, it's very snuggly. I couldn't tell you where I went wrong exactly in the picking of the size that I'm making and the pattern, and why it was turning out so much bigger than what I was wanting. I couldn't tell you. My gauge is great. It's just not working out. And it could be the row gauge is really the issue. I very rarely check my row gauge. If I'm being honest, I rarely check my gauge anyway, unless it's for a test knit. This is a do as I say, not as I do situation. I knit with some friends on Monday mornings, afternoons, and we always joke about the topic of swatching has come up recently quite a few times, and who swatches and who doesn't, and that's a very funny conversation. I don't swatch. My casting on and knitting a few rows is my swatch, which I know isn't great. It's just what I do. I could say that year 2024 is going to be the year of the swatch, but that would be a huge disappointment for me and for you and for everybody involved, and I don't want that. I don't want that. I know what I'm doing. I say as I have quite, again, the amalgamation of many sizes put together in this sweater. But it's okay, because like I said, it's a guideline. I'm making it work for what I need and what I want and what I want it to look like, and it's all okay. My point being ultimately is that I couldn't tell you really exactly everything that I've done, because it was all just kind of like, I'm just kind of gonna add a decrease here and there and make it work. So I'm loving this. I do, like I said, I do know we have some cold, a little bit more cold coming. So if I really wanted to, I could power through the sleeves and then it would be done. Because I did the neckline before doing the sleeves, which was such a smart idea. If you have any type of like, especially if it's a V-neck situation, or if you're going back after you knit the neckline, or if you knit the body, if you are uncertain about how it's going to fit, I would really highly recommend doing the neckline first, the ribbing, whether it's a v-neck, a crew neck, whatever it may be, because that's really going to help it sit better on your shoulders and lay the way that it will potentially lay after blocking. And that will help you determine how fitted, how whatever you want your sleeves to be if you're uncertain, which is what I did with the sweater. I took care of the neckline because it was not what I was looking for. Again, that's on me. It's a great pattern. It's such a wide range of sizes, which is awesome, and so much information about how to add and take away and edit it to what you need, which is really awesome. I think that's the amazing thing about all of Jessimade's patterns, that it's a great guideline to kind of put together whatever you want to make, which is really awesome. So, very v-neck raglan, loving it. Hopefully we'll be able to wear it soon. We will see. The boucle is a little bit slower than my normal knitting rate, but that's okay. That's okay, you know? It's not a competition. But if we are trying to beat the last cold front, it is kind of a competition. We're gonna race the weather here. That sounds like a losing battle right there, but anyway, whatever. Next up, we're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about this one. This is a cast on that nobody has seen yet, unless you follow me on Instagram, in which case you have seen it several times. But we haven't talked about it on the podcast because I got this yarn for Christmas from my parents, and I was so excited to try this new yarn. It is Good Wool from Pearl Soho. I picked out some colors, did some project planning, put it on my wish list, and my parents very kindly gave it to me. And everyone, I'm making the Easy V. Oh wow, look how beautiful. Can we even with those colors? What? Oh man, that's a thumbnail. Anyway, the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter, Boylan Knitworks. I'm cruising along. I finished the body and I'm now just about to start doing the color work on the sleeves. What? This is crazy. I have flown through this pattern. This was my Christmas Day cast on. So, little backstory. Why is it my Christmas Day cast on if I did? I mean, that would make sense if I opened it on Christmas. I technically didn't open it on Christmas because we were doing Christmas with my in-laws this year. Sam and I, same as my husband if you're new, we did our own separate Christmas at our home a few days before because we had Christmas Eve stuff going on, and then we did Christmas with my in-laws, which was wonderful. So that involved opening up some presents from my parents because they had mailed them to us, and so that was very fun. So I did actually cast this on maybe Christmas Eve. But man, is this not beautiful? I'm so happy with these color choices. I'm just so happy with this. So this color, the main color is Dark Spruce. I also have, that's also Dark Spruce. Oh, please tell me the other ball bands are in here. They're not. That's great. I believe this one is Barn Door. And I don't remember what this one is. I'm pretty sure I put everything in my Ravelry page. Pretty sure, but I will put this in the show notes, so no worries there. So I have these two colors, and then I also had this in my stash, which was similar to their guava color, which is what I kind of had picked out together, but I knew that I had this in my stash. This is yarn that my parents actually got for me when they were visiting some family in the Northeast. I don't remember where exactly they were, but it was like local market and my mom picked out. I have 2 more of these skeins, but I love how these colors go together. I think it's just stunning. So it worked out so well. These bases have blended beautifully. I love this yarn. Good wool, again, from Pearl Soho. It is great price point, great yardage, incredible colors. Would highly recommend. Highly recommend. It is super soft. I know it's gonna wear really beautifully. The drape is gonna be beautiful. I can already tell. I'm so excited. So excited. So yeah, I'm just plugging along on these sleeves. Again, would love to get these done. Yes. So, the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter. It's a very unique construction, and I really enjoy doing the neckline. And obviously the color work, so I'm very excited to continue to do the color work on the sleeves. And it'll be done before I know it, because we all know the second sleeve goes faster. And this like little however many inches before you do the color work just flies by. So I am very excited. I do also believe there's kind of a not an increase necessarily, but there's a rapid decrease before you do the ribbing on the wrist, which is very exciting. I do like that look. I do like that look with this particular sweater. I will be doing that. I had thought about not doing it because, again, guidelines. But I'm very excited to finish that and maybe finish next time we chat. I would love that. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but this is also living in my Yarnaceous Fibers bag. Also Fangirl Fibers and Pacific Knit Company. In my defense, I was left unsupervised and the Fiber Festival was open. This was a shopping bag that I got at Woolen Folk during the Rhinebeck weekend, and I love it very dearly. Because it's holographic, and can we even? It's wonderful. I love it. Okay, I'll put that over there. Okay, we need to hurry things on because this is going to be a really long episode. I do apologize. Okay. Next up, this was a random cast on. I'm just going to speak very briefly about this. This is going to be like just a ribbed cowl shrug thing. I know it looks pretty small. It's smaller than I was expecting it to be. I'm sure it'll be fine. Either way, it'll be a cowl of some sort. This is using some scraps and 2022's Advent Sweet Sparrow yarns. I've got some balls wound up of many minis put together. Ta-da! So situations like that. I had been knitting a sweater with this Advent and it wasn't turning out the way that I wanted it to, which is totally fine. Not the fault of the patterns, just not what I was looking for. So when I was going through projects and decluttering and cleaning and reevaluating things, that was one of the things that got frogged. So put that towards this cowl shrug situation. I'm very excited. It's a very nice, like, mindless thing, and I'm loving how the yarns are going together. It's just very fun. I saw a version that inspired this. It was a Sunday shrug by Jackie Rose that someone had used their advent calendar or an advent calendar to do, and I thought that it was just a very creative use of the yarn and a good way to use up every little bit of the mini skein. The thing that I ran into with the Sweet Sparrow yarn advent calendar, the minis were on the smaller side. They weren't quite, I can't remember what exactly it was, but the minis also were kind of varying in size. So it made it hard to put it into something like a sweater, but perfect for this kind of thing because you can kind of marl and change and go with the flow as the yarn allows, which is wonderful and probably what I should have done in the first place. But I did not. So, but that's okay. We're doing it now and I'm loving it. It's a nice mindless project. So, next up, we're going to talk about our first pair of socks. Everybody. Oh man, these are so cute. I am so proud of these. So a little backstory, the group that I knit with on Mondays, we started knitting together because they're good friends of mine, number one. And number two, we were all knitting the West Knits Mystery Knit Along this past October. And so that was very fun to get together at a local coffee shop, hang out, knit, work on the same thing, yada yada. That ended, the Mystery Knit Along ended, and we just continued to meet. We've continued to meet and just knit on random things, but we decided that those who wanted to could pick a pattern from a particular sock designer, in this situation Stone Knits. She does incredible colorwork socks, and we could all pick a pattern and work on those if you wanted to. Not a requirement, but if we all wanted to work on the same thing, relatively. And so I thought that was a wonderful idea because colorwork socks have been something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, correctly and nicely, because I did the little dot socks by Summerly Knits. I made one last year, and there were a lot of things wrong with it. It was my first colorwork sock. I knit it too small. I knit it on my regular needle size. I should have gone up. It's my first afterthought heel. I completely did the colorwork chart wrong because I thought I knew what I was doing. It was just not a good time. I honestly may just kind of use that as like a learning experience and then just make a whole other, in total make 3 little dot socks so I can have a nice pair. Anyway, this is my second colorwork sock. And I'm making the Herding Cats sock by Stone Knits. And if you're new here, I'm not going to go into details, but orange cats are very special to me. I've had an orange cat that's been very special to me that I no longer have. So I'm in honor of that, I'm making my orange cat socks. So they're all kind of a variant of orange, which I think is so fun. And I love them so much. I honestly haven't looked at these or worked on these in a while. So, and I just, pulling this out, I was reminded of how cute and adorable they are. I'm just so enamored with these cats. They're just so cute. Yes, anyway. But they're these little orange cats. Obviously, you can make these cats whatever color you want, but orange kitties, in my opinion, are the best. In my opinion. I did my first short row heel for the first time. Like all first time experiences, it wasn't my favorite, but yeah, I feel like it will be a situation of if I do it again, it will be fine. I'm also learning and gaining experience, and that's just part of crafting and life in general. We're all learning and gaining experience. Different levels, different things, different times. Everyone's different. So I'm very fascinated to see how this fits on my foot. In my heel, I'm very particular about how things fit on my heel. So, if this doesn't fit, I have a backup plan and we're gonna make it work. But I am loving these socks. This is number 1. I have a bag full of orange scraps. And kind of pinky scraps too, because I thought that might be fun to throw in if there was like a pinky orangey cat. So, I love these so much. Some of my friends are also making her mushroom socks, which are just turning out so adorable. I just want to make all of her socks. They're so cute. But cats, I had to. It was the clear option. You know, like I had to. I had to. So that is first sock work in progress. Second sock work in progress. I pulled this out of my Languishing Whip bag, so you've definitely seen this before. But made a lot of progress. These are my Basic Bee shorties from Summerly Knits. I'm almost done, as you can see, which is awesome. I'm using Hedgehog Fibers sock for the fun, like, speckled colorway, and then for the purple I'm using Regia Premium Silk Color 4-ply, which I got from Maker and Stitch forever ago. But I'm loving this. This is really nice yarn, and I'm very excited that I'll have a lot left over because there are some other colorwork socks that I keep. I honestly can't remember what they're called. There are so many of them that I want to do, but I think this purple will make a good base potentially. So just making progress. I need to finish up the foot. Obviously, again, you can see I'm almost done. I brought these with me yesterday. I had to go to the DPS to renew my driver's license because it was that time. I'd done it online too many times, and it was my time to go into and do it in person, which was stressful. Thankfully, Sam came with me, and that was very kind of him, just for moral support. But it went so much smoother than we thought it was going to be, and it was just really nice. I honestly didn't even have time to knit. It was great. It went so smoothly. And now my driver's license has been renewed, which is very important. So those are going to be done before we know it. Hopefully by the next time we chat. Next up is a bit of a secret, so let's not be sharing this to Sam, because these are for Sam. Oh, also, I will go and get this in just a hot second. I have another finished object I forgot, which I should probably go get now because that's going to make more sense if I do that now. So, in January, we celebrated our 7 years of being married, which is really wonderful, on January 14th. We had a very nice weekend. We went to a friend's wedding and kind of turned it into a anniversary weekend. It was really wonderful. My gift to Sam was a pair of hand-knit socks. I'm very proud of these. I did not get them done in time. I did gift him, I think it was, one of them had been finished already. I don't remember. I gave them to him, well, at least one of them was on the needles, if not the first one. Anyway, he loves them so much more. Like, I knew that he would love them, but I didn't know he would love them this much. He has been wearing them non-stop, which is just so sweet, and he just is the best. I love him very dearly. This yarn is yarn that I got, excuse me, at Woolen Folk during the Rhinebeck weekend. Excuse me, my throat is not happy. 1 second. Okay, we're back. So from Woolens and Nosh, which I am just so happy with how they turned out. They are just so squishy. I nailed the sizing. I was really worried. Sam doesn't have big feet necessarily. They're not big. I think for his height, they're on the smaller size. And for some reason, I was just really worried I was going to mess up the sizing. I didn't. I nailed it. I knew what I was doing. It's perfect. They fit perfectly. I'm so proud. And he was just so in love with these. So here comes the secret part. He obviously knows about these now. For Valentine's Day, I decided that I would surprise him with another pair of socks. So these are the Morning Coffee socks by Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady. And it's like a very fun, like textured pattern. But this yarn is special. I have been saving this yarn for a very long time for no particular reason. As we all do, clearly as we all do, we save yarn for that right project, and that project doesn't always come along, and so we end up with wonderful collections of yarn. But now that I know that Sam loves knit socks, this just like opens up so many opportunities, because I do have so much yarn that I have gotten over the years that I thought that I liked at the time and isn't necessarily my cup of tea now, which is very valid and very fair. I know we all have yarn like that. But I know that they would be right up his alley, coincidentally enough. And so this skein, do I have the ball band? I do. I got this skein from the very first Fiber Fest that I went to, the first Houston Fiber Fest that I went to. So it was quite the occasion. This is Savvy Skeins, their Sensible sock, but it is special because it's in their Aggie colorway, which, if you are new here and if you know anything about colleges, both Sam and I graduated from Texas A&M University. We are called the Aggies, and this is based off of A&M. And so it was just meant to be. Clearly meant to be. And Sam and his family are just diehard Aggies. We bleed maroon, the whole shebang. And I feel like I've said shebang at least twice in this episode, which is way more than I normally do. It's not in my normal vocabulary, but apparently it is today. I am using Life in the Long Grass sock for the cuff and heel, and I will do so in the toe. I finish all the gusset decreases. I have every reason to believe I'll get both of them done before Valentine's Day, but obviously I don't have a problem with just giving him one sock and then knitting the other one quickly, which this has gone by very quickly. It was a very spontaneous decision, and I knit up the leg. I knit all this up in probably the total of 2 days, but it was span over 4 days, so I have worked on it when he is in the house. I just have to time things out really well and be listening if he's coming in or nearby or whatever. So it's all good. All works out well. Next up, that's it for socks. Next up is a test knit. My only test knit right now. And this is the Go Lightly pullover this is a new to me designer. Well, not new to me. I've followed her for quite a while. But I have not test knit for her before. Let me find her name really quick. Okay, so it is the Go Lightly pullover by Natalie of True Grit Knits on Instagram. She's quite a few patterns that I've really liked for a long time. She just released a beautiful colorwork cowl, which I really like. And then there's another one, Hanging Valley cardigan, which is coming out soon. But anyway, the Go Lightly pullover, DK weight. I saw it and I was like, I must knit this, I must knit this. And here we are. I am so happy with how my colors are turning out. I am just over the moon. It's like this neon corally pink and then like a mauve-y purple. There we go, that's pretty accurate. We've got some color work in with the peachy, and then we've got some little pearl textures with the mauve-y color. My main color is Harrisville Designs Daylights, which is kind of tied into one of my goals for the year. One of my goals is to be honest with myself if a project or something that I have knit and has been finished and probably maybe worn quite a few times, if it's no longer bringing me joy, if it's not something that I wear anymore, to repurpose the yarn, to give that yarn another life in another project and enjoy it. Because what else am I going to do with the yarn? What else am I going to do with the project if I'm not going to wear it? I could give it to someone, but also if I really love the yarn and I really would like to continue to wear the yarn for whatever reason. And this is not a testament to the pattern necessarily, it's just, it fit in my wardrobe when I thought it did, and it turned out that it was just not something that I reach for very often, but I had a very fun time knitting it. So again, there's nothing wrong with the pattern, nothing wrong with the designers, it's just, it didn't fit quite as well in my wardrobe as I thought it did. So I am actually frogging and I can't remember what this is called now, but this was a test knit for Thea Coleman, and it was super fun knit. I really enjoyed the cabling process. It was very unique, but I wasn't wearing it for whatever reason. I couldn't really, there was something with the sleeves that didn't quite fit well on my arms. I don't remember what exactly it was, but anyway, so I'm literally knitting from the sweater, which has been fun. But you do what you gotta do. This is not necessarily how you should repurpose yarn, but in the time crunch that I have, it's what makes sense. And everything, when I block it, it's all gonna even out. And I personally don't mind knitting with crinkly yarn. But it is what it is. It's got this sweater has some very interesting construction of how you get your short rows basically in the back. You do these increases. So you cast on a little bit and kind of do some increases that kind of look like a crown of the hat, basically, except you're increasing and not decreasing. And then you join everything together and start your color work, which is really exciting. And I've really enjoyed working on it. So yes, I love my colors. The coral peachy, neon peach, neon coral. I don't have the ball band anywhere. Surprise. I feel like I'm much better. No, I think it's over there somewhere. But it's Ching fibers that I've had in my stash for a really long time, and then the mauve color is fingering held double, and it was part of my, I believe it's the Rosewood colorway, which was a new color last year for Suburban Stitcher. It was part of my bubble cardigan, which was my birthday custom last year. So yeah, I'm just making progress on this, plugging along, making good progress, all that jazz. Last up, last work in progress that I can remember to share. This yarn is super special. I don't know where to begin about this. I'm gonna set this on my. I'm gonna take a drink first. My mouth is still feeling dry. You know, that's what happens when you take a break. So, backstory. Lots of backstories today. If you are new to the podcast, you might not know that There are many things that hold a special place in my heart for many different reasons, as do we all have those types of things. One of those things for me is the Gilmore Girls. It is my ultimate comfort show, with the addition of a few other shows, but the Gilmore Girls, like, I fall asleep to it pretty much every night. It's always going. I know the deep lore, if you will. Like, I've got theories about characters. I know so much. It's very special to me for a multitude of reasons. And there was a yarn dyer that was at Woolen Folk that my mom and I did not have a chance to see or visit, that I was really wanting to visit and see in person, but unfortunately we couldn't find her because of that debacle, which is a whole other story. But this dyer, Sorella Knits, Sorella Yarns, I'm really lacking on my information today, and I do apologize. And I should know this, but I do not remember. Sorella Yarn, Ashley. Sorella Yarn announced that she was doing a Gilmore Girls collection around the middle of December, around Christmas time, and I had sent the yarn, like the stories, the reels and things in post to Sam as she was releasing the pictures of all these yarns, because he knows that Gilmore Girls is special to me, to kind of like hint to him that like this would be a fun Christmas present maybe. And I put together some like color combos that I really liked, and I sent those to him, and he was very kind and he picked out from my list some things for me. So though I picked out these yarns and these colors, ultimately he did pick them out for me, which is very special. So he went through and did some studying of his own, and I'm making, and it arrived middle of January, I think. End of January, and I immediately cast it on, and I am making an Elton pullover out of the Dragonfly Inn, which is the Surrey, and Where You Lead, which is the main color. And I could not be more happy with this. I am just over the moon. It is just so pretty. And it's Gilmore Girls themed, and I can't even, and Sam picked it out for me, and it was a Christmas present, and it's just so many special things that have to do with this project. I'm so excited. I'm loving working with this yarn. It has been truly a delight, and it's just so good. So this is Dragonfly Inn. A very variegated, but kind of tonally with the browns and the rosy colors with a little bit of like a light pink in there as well. And then we've got more of this rosy color that's more of a tonal, which is just beautiful. And this is Where You Lead. It's either Where You Lead or I Will Follow. I do have the ball bands for this. That's the Dragonfly Inn. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, this is I Will Follow. My bad. This is not Where You Lead. This is Where I Will Follow, which is part of the theme song if you're unfamiliar. But here's the ball band. This is the Surrey lace. And yeah, I was just so over the moon. I loved all the colors out of the collection, and it was so hard to just kind of like not say I'd like one of everything, please. But this is just so special. Sam is very thoughtful when it comes to things like that. He is very good at picking out gifts like that for me that he knows that are meaningful to me in one way or the other, and I just really appreciate that. He is very thoughtful when it comes to things like that, which makes him even more knitworthy for socks. You know? So that is all my all my works in progress. And I see there's not very much space left on this SD card, so we're going to come back in a little bit and hopefully have cleared up some space on this SD card and we can continue filming. So I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. Okay. Where to begin? Let's go over goals real quick. We're going to speed through these because this episode's going to be long. What happens when you don't record in a very long time? If you've made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I've rambled on a lot today. I appreciate you putting up with me. Anyway, so we have goals for 2024. Whether they are goals, their intentions, their plans, these are my crafting goals. However you want to look at them, whatever works for you. Maybe you don't even have them. Totally fair. Totally valid. For me, especially when it comes to crafting, it helps me kind of have like a to-do list almost of just like things that I know that if I don't write them down in this way, I'm gonna forget what they are. So these are my knitting goals, my crafting goals for 2024. Number 1 is socks. We've got so many socks. I have definitely entered into my sock era, as all the people would say these days. I'm heavily in my sock era and I'm loving it. So we're gonna make as many socks as we can this year. I'm not putting a number on it because I don't want to like burn myself out necessarily, but I'm gonna enjoy my sock knitting. And knit socks for Sam, which I'm really excited about. Number 2, I really need to make a priority to knit things, and I say this looking at things that I want to knit and thinking of things that I do want to knit that I can't see that are not this. So there's that. But I would really like to make it a priority to knit things that are more simple and plain, if you will, to fit into my wardrobe better. So things don't have to have color work. They don't have to have texture. They don't have to have all these fancy things. They don't have to be in a bright color. I would really like to replace some things like some crew necks that I love that are very simple and straightforward. And though I would really like to have a knit version instead. And that means just knitting a plain pullover, a plain gray pullover. Nothing fancy, very straightforward, very classic, staples. Whether that happens, I don't know, but I would really like to work on that because I feel like I have a bunch of really fun things that have some form of design element, and I need more everyday things, if that makes sense. Not that these things are not everyday, but just like very plain, simple, classic. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. That's number 2. Number 3, I'd like to steek, and I'd like to do it again because I've steeked before, and I'm gonna steek again. Some friends from my Monday knit group are also interested in steeking, so we may do that together. Number 4, I'd like to maintain and decrease my whip management. I'm pretty happy with the whips that I have on my needles. In regards to the amount, I couldn't tell you what the number was, but I counted recently. It wasn't quite to 25, but it was definitely over 20. So somewhere in that range of numbers. So I think I'd like to get it lower. For me personally, whatever floats your boat. You do you, no shame, whatever. For me personally, I'd like to get a little bit lower, and I'd like to maintain that better. Number 5, I'm gonna manage my test knits better. Are we shocked that I currently have one test knit on my needles? Because I am shocked. I have seen some test knits float by my Instagram feed, and I have been very tempted, but I somehow said no, and I just kept on scrolling. I like the picture, and I will probably knit it when it comes out, but it was not a like, I think I'm doing better at calming down the voice that's inside my head that's like, you need that now. You need it before everybody else. And it's like, but I don't though. There are other things that I would like to work on, which means I don't need it right now. I don't need it. I don't need to do this. You will be happier if you don't do this right now. So we're working on that. Number 6, I'd like to crochet more. Last year I had my first crocheted sweater, which was kind of incredible. I made some really cute, if I do say so myself, some very cute granny square star coasters for some friends for Christmas. And I was shocked at myself at how easily I could do that. For some reason, I think after doing the sweater, it just kind of, something in my brain clicked of like, oh, you don't have to be afraid of this. Not that I was afraid of this, but it just was overwhelming to me, I think. And doing the sweater solidified like some of the basic terms, which really helped. So I wasn't going into these coasters like completely not knowing anything, which was nice. So I felt more confident in being able to do more crochet this year, but we will see. We will see. Number 7. This one's exciting. I would like to get back to spinning again and to knit with my hand spun, which I do have quite a lot of. I have most of my hand spun is up there, and I've got a little basket of it over there of like ends and pieces, bits and bobs and things like that. My spinning wheels over here, I have a ladybug from Shocked. There are a few people that I follow on Instagram that have just really gotten back into spinning lately, and it has been the most inspirational thing. Specifically Casey of Casey Knits and Diane of Suburban Stitcher. Both of them are creating some incredible yarns, and they are super consistent. And it's just been very inspirational. And it's like, I have a lot of fiber that I need to use up that's currently kind of stored away in the back of a closet, and I really need to pull it out and use it because it's not gonna do anything else. And I'd like to pull this out and like get back to it. We will see if that happens, when that happens. But who knows. Next up, this is carryover from last year, just generally keep my Ravelry up to date. At the end of last year, I kind of started doing like updates in batches, which was kind of frustrating because I would let it go and I wouldn't update things as I was doing them. So then I'd have to like go through and figure out what was there and what wasn't and what needed information and what didn't, and that was a lot. Not my favorite, so I'm gonna try and be more on top of that. I did pretty good last year, all things considered. I'm not gonna say that I did not fail, because we're not gonna say that. It's not like I didn't do a good job, because I definitely did. But we're gonna continue that on this year. Next up, I mentioned this before, but just repurposing yarn from projects that don't bring me joy anymore, and find them a new purpose, find them a new home in something new, a new project or whatever. Next up, I would like to refresh and reorganize the yarn wall. It needs a clean, it needs a refresh. There are things that need to be gone through, things need to be donated. It's just, it needs to be organized. It's been 2 years, 3 years, 2 years. 2 years. No, 3 years. I don't know. It's been a while, and this wall has not been reorganized or touched up since I put everything up when we moved in. So I need to redo all that. And lastly, this just kind of goes towards all, this is not necessarily like crafting related, this just kind of is like a social media based goal, but I really need to go through who I follow and unfollow the people that don't bring me joy and are not doing anything for my feed. I have a bad habit of like going through and just following accounts that I think that I'll like in the moment, otherwise I'll forget where to find them or whatever, and I don't then, like, once I see that they're not necessarily who I want to be following, or it's just not content that I'm interested in, that I don't need to be following them, but I just like don't take the time to unfollow them. So therefore my feed gets really just full of things that are not either interesting to me, they're not lifting me up, they're not bringing me joy, they're not like pushing me in some way, they're whatever. I need to curate my social medias a little bit better, and I think that's fair, and I think that's something that we all need to do every now and again, of just kind of doing a clean out of the accounts that you follow. And it's okay to not follow people who don't bring you joy. That's okay. It's your feed. That's fine, in my opinion. So those are all my goals. Those are my 2024 goals and crafting goals, intentions, plans, goals. So next up, lastly, but by no means leastly, we have to pick a birthday cast on everybody. I had thought about saving my Gilmore Girls yarn for my birthday cast on, but I was just too excited and I couldn't wait. So that's fine. That's not a problem. I did pull a few things that I'm thinking about, but it's not like limited to this. So, and I do have yarn that I got a notification while recording this that some yarn was delivered, so that's exciting. But we will see. I do want some birthday socks because I'm pretty sure at least the striped pair, my shorty pair, will be done for that. So for that, what's in the mail is a sock set, so that is also a potential. So we have this, which is Dragon Horde yarn, the Myth fingering weight. This is called Why I Wear Shoes to Bed. This is super fun and bright and happy, and it comes with a mini skein, so that's very fun. So these might be socks. This was what I got for myself at the Woolens and Nosh booth at Woolen Folk. This is Half Past Nude. So we got some self-striping here. We got some Kirby Werby, which is just really bright and happy. This is called Afternoon Delight. Those are the socks. I see I've got 4 minutes left in this battery. This has been very, whatever. We're just going to go over two of these sweater options really quick. We got some crinkling going on, and I do apologize. Okay, so I have, I'm going to move this to the floor. Okay, so I've got yarn for, it was originally for a Paul Klee sweater, which I still want to make, but I really want to make the sweater that Kaylin Hunter just released with either this mini skein set from Conifer Collective or this mini skein set, which is from Botanical Yarn. So either one I really like. That's an option. I got this Folklore mini skein set from Lavender Loon. I'm not sure how I would use this, but I really love this, and as I've gone over, I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. And then I've wanted to make the Allie sweater, the light version, for a long time. This I got from Woolen Folk. This is Robin's Promise Yarn Company, which is just beautiful. My phone is blowing up. I don't know why. This is Tiptoe Through the Tulips color, which is a beautiful maroon, and I will be pairing it with this tweed from Heathered Handmaids, which is the Sincerity colorway, which I really like. So this is also potential. I have to go. I feel so bad. I've got 2 more minutes left on this battery and it's going quickly. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry this is rushed. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for waiting while I took a break. Thanks for just being patient with me. I've got social medias, I've got show notes, I've got tech editing information, all the various places. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. Yeah, thanks so much for just hanging out with me for such a long episode. I'm so sorry this was so long. I'm so excited to be back, but with that, I don't know if this is over. The battery it says I need to change the battery pack. Anyway, you are wonderful. You are enough. Thank you for hanging out with me. Next week, this camera will be much more powered up. I do apologize. And with that, I will see you next time. Bye.